connect. Talking the talk with Kate and Jim, and walking the walk, just listening. The perfect match, Kate and Jim, getting at it. Kate and Jim, I'm gonna smash it. Reviews, previews, opinions and laughter, mixing transfer news is what you're after. The perfect match, Kate and Jim, getting at it. Kate and Jim are gonna smash it. Reviews, previews, opinions and laughter, mixing transfer news is what you're after. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. Keeps a positive spin. What Kate's doing, the Mickey Hazard name dropping, gets you out of the blue like let me stop rubbing, or she's flip-flopping. Hell, this place is popping. The perfect match, Kate and Jim, getting at it. Kate and Jim, I'm gonna smash it. Reviews, previews, opinions and laughter, mixing transfer news is what you're after. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. Jim always keeps a positive spin. What Kate's doing, the Mickey has her name dropping, gets you out of the blue like let me stop rubbing, or she's flip-flopping. Hell, this place is popping. Perfect match, Kate and Jim, getting at it. Kate and Jim are gonna smash it. Reviews, previews, opinions and laughter, mixing transfer news is what you're after. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. Jim always keeps a positive spin. What Kate's doing, the Mickey has her name dropping, gets you out of the blue and let you stop rubbing, or she's flip-flopping. Hell, this place is popping. Always keeps a positive spin. What Kate's doing, the Mickey has her name dropping, gets you out of the blue like let me stop rubbing, or she's flip-flopping. Hell, this place is popping.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is Wednesday, Hump Day, 20th of November. It's nearly Christmas. It's getting closer and closer. Jimbo and I are full of snot, but we are here with a members show. Jimbo, how are you doing?
Well, I was all right until I started talking to Kova and he said something and it's got me quite horny, what he said. So, I mean, he should have, he said it innocently, but it's got me a little bit like tingly.
It doesn't take much to get you tingly, let's be fair. Let's be fair, Jimbo. The wind's only got to blow in a certain direction and the tingle starts. But Jimbo,
I'm all right, just full of cold. Okay, but
before we start the show, there's an important message, important question I've got to ask you. We sat yesterday, we watched The Dark Knight, we watched, my cat's in the corner, we watched The Joker, and then we watched Joker Folie de Deux, or whatever you call it. What did you think of Joker number 2?
Yeah, we had a Joker afternoon so we could compare, didn't we?
We did.
As it's snowing here, and it started snowing again today. I love the first Joker.
Yeah.
What's his name? The other Joker. What's his name?
Heath Ledger.
Yeah, I think he's fantastic as the Joker. I think he's absolutely exceptional. I was half and half with the musical. I'm glad I've seen it. Right, there was parts of the film that I absolutely loved, but I always felt like I wanted more. I felt wanted in it more.
Don't give away the ending. Don't give away the ending.
It didn't give me what I was expecting, but there was parts of it that I thought were fantastic.
Okay, so you didn't hate it?
I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it.
How many out of 10?
5.
Shut up! That's outrageous.
I'm in the middle. There was parts of it I loved, and there was parts of it I thought they overdid the singing. There was parts that didn't need singing in it.
Well, I bloody loved it just as much the second time.
Well, I thought some of the singing in it was really good. That it kind of fitted in with it, but then they would just burst into song and other parts, and I was thinking, "Fuck me, what's this? Give us a break." But
well, there we go. It wasn't.
I'm glad I've seen it, but I wouldn't watch it again.
Oh, I'm going to watch it again. I love it. Now, before I bring in the members, I've just got to do a little bit of admin here. As we all know, Mickey Hazard, friend of the show, mark that off on your bingo cards nice and early. They've started selling Legend on the Bench badges for
I've got
charity,
mine.
and they're marvellous. I don't know if you could see them. Someone is always listening, and then it says Legend on the Bench. They come with a little message from Mickey. 2 for £6. If anyone's interested, write to me on the community page or send me an email. The email address is on the channel, because all the money goes to charity. And all the legends, the Spurs legends are on the site wearing them. So if you want to be in with the in crowd, you've got to get one. So yeah, if anyone's interested, let me know. But let's bring on the members before we go through the checks. Got a few waiting in the background. We've got the one, the only horny Cougar Bear, who's got Jim all tingly this morning. Good morning, Cougar. How are you?
Yeah, all right. Calm down. Yeah, I'm okay. I mean, none of my, the shows I really enjoy are on, so I thought I might just pop on, chat to Jim for a bit. How's it going, mate? How's it going, Jim? You okay?
I'm good, thanks, Cooper. And you?
Yeah, not bad. How's family?
Yeah, good. Yeah, William's all right.
You're looking a bit dry around the lips. You need a drink or something. Kim, do you want to run along and get Jimbo a cup of tea, please, mate?
I've just made him one.
You did
Yeah,
just
you
make
can probably
one.
do with another.
Big up, Cougar. Honestly,
how do you operate this thing, mate?
How do you operate this thing? I will make the tea. Well, it's nice to see you, Cougar. Anyway,
Good to see you as well, okay.
We've got the cough. Where there's the coof, there's very often the cough. Mr.
Of course.
Cough, how are you doing, Benji?
I'm a tiny bit miserable today about the announcement that Jaguar made yesterday that I didn't see. I'm fed up of people rebranding stuff. So to cheer myself up, I've come to speak with Jim. He needs about 4 cups of teas, this man. The amount of people he needs to cheer up.
Do you know what? I'm going to leave.
We're here. We're happy to have a relax. It's chilly and we're warm.
Do you know what? It's been snowing again this morning, but I am going to leave in a minute and just leave Jim to take charge. I know when I'm not wanted. We've got Mr. AJ in the back as well. AJ, how are you doing?
AJ.
Yeah, I'm good. It's sun shining here, and I'm happy to see Coon and his magnificent beard.
It's a darling. It's a darling.
Exterminate.
Exterminate.
Is it possible to gargle on electricity?
AJ, we can't understand you. You sound like a robot.
Can you hear me now?
No.
Unplug mic, mate. Unplug mic.
Go out back in, AJ.
Right, let's wind him up.
Wind
AJ up and say it's still
Hello.
Yeah. How are you, Rinkett? You well?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
I joined to talk to Jim.
Just cold. Oh, hang on, we've got Dalek back. Dalek, how are you?
I'm still a Dalek.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
No, you're not. You're all right.
The Christmas has made you into a robot, AJ. You've become the Christmas robot.
I'm a little bit upset that Jim isn't in his robe. I was getting all excited for the stream and he's let me down.
Can I just say that actually was my robe that I sent you the photo of, but I'm disappointed Jim's not in his robe either.
I think Jim probably wears it better, doesn't he?
He does.
She did say that when I put it on. She said it looks better on you than it does me.
I did. I did say that. Let's just have a quick look who's in the chat. We've got Lily Whiteley, Robbie's here, Scott Colliver's here, Drew Lala is here, Johnny Bethnal Green saying love ya. Big up, Johnny. Good chatting this morning. Leo.
Hi, Leo.
Hi, Leo. Is here. We've got Ian Meth is in the house who doesn't want a show. He just wants to listen to the theme tune over and over again.
Has Ian paid his appearance fee to be in the chat? Just want to ask.
No, he hasn't.
Put some money in the dial then, Ian.
Exactly. Shem says, Kate, you were amazing on Last Word on Spurs with Ricky and Johnny. Love the Mickey Hazard name drop so quickly. Obviously, I've got to get it in there. When I met Chris Cowling, what did he say to me? Oh, yeah, I know you. You're the one who knows Mickey Hazard. That's the first thing he said. What can I say?
Yeah.
I'm getting a name.
You're becoming his TA at this rate.
Harmless Potatoes here. Beyond 72 likes my pussy. Thank you very much. We've got when the Spurs go marching in here. We've got Lisa here as well. Paul G's been a member for 8 months. Thank you very much, Paul. And it has flown. Time flies when you're having fun. Mario's here. Joey Barton says Batman in, Ange out. Big up, Joey. Hello, Queen Ellie says full of snot, oh dear, and horny Jimbo. The wind blowing in Jim's direction. It seems Coover's blowing the tingles. Quite possibly. The new Jokers are just money spinners. The Dark Knight was amazing. Not seen King of Comedy at all. Tingle all the way, Jimbo. For fuck's sake, don't really want to know what's happening in your nether regions. I know. I'll get some. Kate will message you. Thanks, Paul. It's not me that's doing them, but I can give you the guy's email address.
Kate's on what she really means is she wants him to meet down a dark alley, and she's going to be wearing a Mac, and she's going to open up her coat. Look at my badges, mate. Got the Take That ones there. Got the Mickey Hazard ones there. Got this one, Last Word on Spurs members. Here we go. This is going to be Kate. All the badges are available. Just need to find a dark alley, and Kate needs to find her Mac.
This is true.
Well, I'm starting to get a tingle now.
It's the season to tingle, apparently, according to Drew Lowe. Coover's got more comebacks than Sinatra. There you go. Luton Dan's here. Good to see you. Jerula's been a member for 12 months. Amazing. So, yeah, I thought I would first of all start with the news that's come out today that Tottenham are going to appeal Bentancur's 7-match ban. Jim, what's your thoughts?
So they should, Kate, because I think he should have been punished. I said this on the stream on Monday. What he did for me, he needed to be punished of some sort, right? I'm not going to talk about the inconsistency within football players saying stuff and not getting punished. We all know about that. But he should be punished for what he said because it was wrong. But I think they've been really, really harsh. I think maybe a fine and like a red card ban would have been sufficient, especially as Sonny has come out and said it was no big deal. They're really close friends. And close friends do take the mick out of each other. We know that. Yeah. So I think that they was a bit harsh on him. So I think they should appeal it. And I will be very, very surprised if it's not taken down a few games.
Wow. Coves, do you agree with Jim? I mean, there is a chance if we appeal it and we lose, it could go up to 12.
Yeah, we've had this conversation on another channel recently, and it's difficult because if they're going to be serious about their whole campaign of kick out of football and the racism side of things, then they do have to make an example of players. Otherwise, it's pointless. On the other hand, is that more out of line than some of the other things that are going on with other players? I'd say possibly not. So it's difficult territory at the moment. And when you've got to take in all the variables like different, they've been in different countries, different cultures, or different views, well, not views, but a different sort of more lax, perhaps, attitude towards racism in culture. Well, not even racism. Sometimes it's more accepted just having a little mild joke about it because there's an understanding it's not meant in a really offensive way. Whereas here, we know exactly what it's all about. End of the day, though, Bentancur just shouldn't have done it. He should know what he's, who the club he's representing and what it's like here. It would have been drummed into them. They would have been made to sit through videos and crap all about it. So, without doubt, it's unfortunate, but maybe you just have to grit your teeth and just ride it out and let the punishment happen.
Can I just say, Kate, just to touch on something Coover said? It's so sad that they have to sit through videos about it. Isn't it common sense?
I know.
You think footballers aren't the brightest people in the world, though, Jimbo, are they?
It's right from wrong. Do you not know right from wrong? It's sad that they need to sit through videos of things like that.
Well, it's standard everywhere now, isn't it? You've got there's few things that always get drummed in. Health and safety, first of all. You've got to watch a video for everything if you're an employee anywhere. It's just what it's like nowadays. Common sense is out the window. You've got you've just got to toe the line, unfortunately.
Yeah. What about you, Benji?
The problem isn't with the ban per se, because racism is unacceptable in any way, shape, or form. It's the timing. The timing is unacceptable. The timing is unbelievable, because apparently, from what I've heard, I heard it on Spurs Die Hard. So, Ian, if you've got the information wrong, it's all your fault, mate. The interview that Bentancur did was filmed in April, and it was done in June. So why have they taken so long to do this ban, which now coincides with the most difficult part of the season, which is the winter season, which is 3 games, which is a game every 3 days. It's going to be much harder on the muscles, because the cold is going to make your hamstrings and your leg muscles tighter, which means it's going to be harder to recover. There are going to be more injuries. So what they're doing is they're punishing the team rather than the player. The way to punish the player, of course, you can give a ban as well, but a way to punish the player, or to educate the player, because education is always the way forward. Some seminars, some diversity inclusion training, whatever way you want to do it, some education on why he shouldn't have said what he said would be more fitting for him, rather than personally punishing the football team. This could have massive repercussions. Let's say City, we play City this weekend. What if Basuma gets not banned or injured? What if Basuma gets injured? We could have no centre midfielders for the entirety of December. And if we've got no midfield and we lose, let's say, 4 games, the manager's going to get the sack. They're not going to blame the FA. The manager's going to get the sack. So the FA are contributing towards the firing of a Premier League football manager. Whether you like the manager or don't like the manager should have the opportunity, or the opportunity to be able to state his case of why he should be able to keep his job, which is having a full squad of players and be able to compete in football matches. If he's got his full team and he loses 4 games, it's all on him. If he's taken all the tools away from him, it's not his fault at the end of the day, because he hasn't got the players for it's a very difficult situation, and this could cost Ange Postecoglou his job. It could literally cost him his job.
What's happening to Red Ketic?
He's in and out doing the okey cokey, I think. I agree. I think I would have rather seen a bigger fine and a lesser ban, because he is punishing the whole team by banning him for that long. What do you think, AJ? What's your thoughts on it?
I think it's nothing more than a PR stunt. Look at us. We're doing something. We're helping to kick racism out. We're making an example of a player. I think, personally, a 7-match ban is ridiculous. For me, racism, there has to be intent. There has to be malice if you're being racist. Other than that, it's ignorance/stupidity. And that's exactly what Bentancur's was. It was a stupid remark made. There was nothing behind it. He apologised openly straight away. He went and saw Sonny. He apologised to Son immediately. He came out and said, basically, these things happen. It's not great, not acceptable, but there's no issue there. It's the FA going, look at us, chuck us a cookie. How good have we been? That's all it is. It's farcical. When you've got players from other teams that have led racist chants and nothing has happened to these people. Racism is not acceptable. It's not. If you're going to have a rule, though, it needs to be applied throughout. It needs to be applicable to everybody, not just picking and choosing who we're applying it to, who gets a ban, who doesn't, what team you play for. It's all bullshit. I'm sorry, it's absolute bullshit. I've got friends from multiple ethnicities, and because we're friends, because we have certain relationships, there's certain jokes we can make about each other. But there's no malice in it. I love my friends, right? My friends that are close to me that I can have these sorts of jokes with, I love them, right? They're my close friends, and I would never, and I know them well enough to know we can have that banter. I would not walk up to somebody of the same ethnicity in the street and crack the same joke, because that you don't have that relationship. You don't have that. So it's knowing where you can and what you can't and can say, and to whom you can and can't say it to, right? Yeah. The FA, this is a publicity stunt. That's all it is, and nobody will convince me of anything other.
Okay, can you read out David Clark, what he said
Yeah. He says Benton Kerr should not have been banned at all because this bullshit racism card being got out every time someone opens their lips. The interview he gave, he suspended to the interview's racist question.
What does he mean by that? I don't get that last bit.
Nor do I.
Nor do I.
No. I don't get it. Rinketti, what do you think? How do you feel about it? What he said, what the ban, etc.
I feel like the ban is a bit too harsh because it's like 7 games. Suarez got 8 games banned for the thing against Evra, I think it was, and he did that just to like hurt him. While Bentancur, like it was a kind of okay, it was a joke, but it's still a bad joke. And he gets 7. It should maybe been like 2, 3 maybe. And I felt like this has been dragging along for such a long time as well. Like
Yeah.
I can't I forgot even when this was. Like even like this Enzo Fernandez thingy has also been dragging on to way too long.
Yeah, I agree. David said the world we live in is weak-minded, woke, soft, and a world I don't take notice of. A joke's now racist. It's a joke. I'm glad I spent my 50 years on construction sites. Look, I don't agree with that particularly. I'm not a woke
There's
person,
time and place for everything, isn't there, Kate? It's time and place. In an international media interview, you're not Jimmy Carr. If you're Jimmy Carr and he's making that joke, you know he's a dark comedian. There's context provided. He's a footballer talking about football. He's a Uruguayan footballer talking about because the interview happened under what's it called? I think it was whatever tournament it was. It was the whatever tournament it was out of or actually no, it was even in pre-season because that's when the interview was released. But it's all context. If he's a dark comedian, you understand the jokes. He lampoons everyone. Okay.
Yeah.
You see where it's coming from. He's a footballer. He shouldn't make those remarks.
Well,
The problem is with the changing of the ban, because the FA has this thing in black and white. If you are adjudged of racism, the ban is 6 to 12 games, and he's been given a 7-game ban. Even if Spurs' appeal is won, it will still only go down to 6 games. So you only get him for an extra game. So
what's the point?
I think it's almost like a bit of pride for Tottenham to say we've dealt with it internally. Back off. We can deal with this internally because it's a very very difficult situation because I think the FA have been they've been very heavy-handed with this. They're again AJ is right to say they've tried to make an example of him. They've tried to make an example with him. They found that they can because it's in their jurisdiction, so they can do it. Whereas the Enzo one is still under FIFA investigation because it happened during a FIFA tournament. It's very difficult to say, but I think this matter, like any other business, should be dealt with internally. And I think the FA is just trying to show how big their dick is. That's what they're doing. This is a dick measuring exercise.
I mean, look, Luton Dan makes a really good point, right? Look, surely
they ask Son if he's offended, then get them together, clear things up, make it right for both players. 3-game ban and a fine, then get back to it. It's football that loses, not the player.
Yeah, because look, right? You, Kuva, Bobby, you always joke amongst yourselves, right? And obviously, Bobby takes the piss out of himself. Now, if someone in chat reports that, is it going to cause a problem? But see, do you see what I'm saying? And maybe they're on that kind of terms. So it's a very, very hard one because they're really close friends. So that's a good point he makes there. As anyone else,
we do kind of push it though, don't? Yeah, we're pushing it because of that. It's kind of what we do is we're making fun of racism rather than having fun by using it.
Yeah.
But it's difficult because at the end of the day, that's what I say. Common sense has got to prevail. Forget about saying, "Oh, it's woke," or it's anything should go. Just use your head. I mean, if you're representing a football club, you've got to have a certain level of decorum. You've got to have a certain level of responsibility and professionalism when you're giving interviews. You're messing about with your mates, anything goes. You all know that. You can say awful things when it's your friend group because they know it's your friend group. But if you are talking on mainstream media, that is out to the masses. So you've got to watch it. I don't think it's a case of saying there's nothing to it. There definitely is something to it because everybody knew this was going to kick up a fuss. As soon as you heard it, you thought that's going to get done. So that being the case, they've now got to be consistent. If this is going to stick and it's a 7-game ban, then for every case of it now, it's going to be a 7-game ban.
Well, it's 6 to 12, isn't it, Coover? Because John Terry got done in the Anton Ferdinand incident. He got an 8-game ban. How many games did Suarez get, for example, where he got a few games?
7, 8.
Yeah, the FA would say they are being consistent because
they are being
consistent. They would say they have been consistent. It's the problem with grey areas. It's grey areas all over them, and everyone's just got to do right by them, which is why I think a 4-game ban would have sufficed, and the club dealing with it internally with media training and education for multiple people. Education's always the way forward. Good education is marvellous.
That to me is mind-boggling, right? That people need to be educated on racism.
Of course I do, because people.
It's mind-boggling that people. I mean, I can't believe people need to be educated on it.
Yeah.
Well, it's more a fact, Jimbo. If there is a problem with it, then someone like the FA can say, well, we gave out the video with all the guidelines on it, so therefore it is your fault if you break them. They're just covering themselves, aren't they? Rather than it being like that, they're thinking there's players out there that don't know all this stuff. It's a more reminder of we've done it now. It's there. You can't say you haven't seen it. You can't say you don't know how to act.
I would say to was it Luton Dan who said about if Son's all right with it, then it's all right. I don't really agree with that because if Son come out and said, well, actually, I was a little bit offended, then Son's going to get abused for being soft or whatever. I think there needs to be some sort of punishment. It was a pathetic, ignorant statement to make, but it's just gone mad. And I don't mean to be political when I say this, but had Sonny made that joke and said something about, oh, well, all white people look the same, would there be this much controversy over it? I very much doubt it. But it is what it is. It's done. He said it. It's 7 games. For me, they should just leave it. I don't see the point of appealing it when it can only be reduced to 6 anyway.
Can it only be reduced by 1 game?
Yeah.
Oh,
or it can be what's the word? Increased to 12. So I don't really see why you would appeal it. But
can he play why it's being appealed?
I don't know. That's a good question. No, can he not, Rinketti? No, he can't play.
Okay.
I'm not sure how long an appeal would take.
Well,
Guys,
they've
I've
got
got to jump
6 games
quickly, but I'll see you later.
See you later, Ben.
Cheers.
See you
Bye.
later.
See you later, Benji. Sorry, mate.
They got 6 games to work out the appeal, though, haven't they? Basically.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's something Spurs really didn't need at any time, but bad PR is never good. And now we're without Bentancur except for the European games, which is a pain in the bum. But it is what it is. What can you do? Cooves, I'm going to come to you with this because we all know you are the Lord, the Alpha, and King of the flip-flops.
Can I just say I like this comment by Luton Dan.
It's England and racism seems to be so hit and miss and press jump on things and exaggerate most things. To me, I choose what I'm offended by, but even if I complained, it'd be a lot different. Yeah, this is what I said about getting too political, but I completely agree. But yes, let's move on. Cooves, my question on this member show was, is Ange fit to be a Premier League manager? Is he, big up Marlon, is he a good choice? There's been a lot of talk about Ange. Ange out. We're 3 points off of 3rd, but we're also 1 point off of 13th. What's your feeling on Ange at the moment, Cooves?
Well, we've had an international break, and so it's reset the flip-flop time. I am on the fence again. I'm getting blisters on the underside of my foot because we're much like the results so far in the season. I've seen some good things and I've seen some bad things, and I'm yet to be convinced by him. So that's exactly where I am. If we get a good positive result against Manchester City, fine. I can be on board with that. Even if we do get beaten, but the performance is good and we look like we could have got something out of it, I can accept that. After all, it's Manchester City. How long is it since they've lost at home? A couple of years.
Yeah.
Nobody gets anything there really. So it's not really going to be a match to judge Ange on just as a one-off now. So you just have to keep looking at it, the overall. And I think since that fantastic start of last season, there's as many questions as there are positives about it. So it's time to just put those wins on the board, shuts everybody up there. And if I'll go back to what I said the other week, if Ange wins a trophy, happy days. You can't argue with it. That's what we're there for as a so-called elite football club. We should be about winning trophies. Not you can't do it every season, of course, but we are so overdue it, and that is such a good way to silence everybody. The silverware's in the trophy cabinet, and we've obviously been winning some games. Keep up the league form, play some good football. Looks very good then.
Yeah.
But I just don't believe it at the moment. I need to see it now. This is why Mr. Box Office, I always say, is right, because he says, show me. I need to see it. It's the fairest way. It's the only way you can really prove it in the long term is the results.
I mean, to be fair to Alex, I've had lots of run-ins with Alex in my time on YouTube, but he called this from the beginning. He wasn't convinced, and I hear it. I hear what people are saying. AJ, what's your feelings on Ange at this moment in time?
At this moment, 50-50. I can see some good work that he's done. I can see some great results that we've had, and some games the players have bought completely into what he wants, and we've looked really good. And then the exact opposite is true. In some games, he's done nothing. He stood on the touchline, hands in his pockets, not made any changes. If he's made the changes, he's made them far too late. The team looks like they haven't got any fight in them at all. So it's chalk and cheese, isn't it? It's night and day. You couldn't get any further apart. I think it's still very, 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 very early, and it's too early to say. And I want to know who these people are that can guarantee he won't win anything, he won't be a success. I want to know these fortune tellers, these people that can see into the future, because it's guesswork. It's your opinion. And people have stated, yeah, but he's lost X amount and this. Can I just read some stats that I've collated, and they're out there for everyone to find. I'm not really a stats guy, but I think it's fair to offer the opposite to what people have been saying.
I'm
not a stats guy, but I'm going to read some stats.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. I'm not a dressing gown guy, but you can wear a dressing gown all you want, Jim. He has a 35% loss percentage, which is not great. But he also has a 51% win percentage, right? That's quite high. That's in 49 games. In those 49 games, he's represented us as a manager in the Premier League. He's 125. Klopp in his first 50, 126. Arteta in his first 50, 126. Yeah? We have had 45 shots on target. That's the most in the Premier League. 3 more than Manchester City, 5 more than Arsenal and Liverpool. We've scored 23 goals. That's more than any other team. We've conceded 13 goals. That's the same as City and Chelsea, and 1 less than Arsenal, who everyone tells us is the benchmark, right? Arsenal's defence, it's unbeatable. But we've conceded, with how poor and terrible we've been, we've conceded 1 less goal. We're 3 points off of 3rd place. If we'd have won, the Palace and Ipswich were shit shows, right? They were terrible. If we'd have won just one of those games, we would currently be handsomely in 3rd place, right? If we'd have beaten those 2 teams, and this is the thing, this is what I mean. Sometimes we're very, very good, and sometimes we're very, very bad. I would like to see it balanced. I would like to see consistency. I'd rather us win 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, rather than go, oh, we scored 3 in this game and then we got beat 2-0 in the next. Let's have some consistency. I can see what Ange is trying, and I can see that when the players are buying into it, the stats don't lie, as people keep telling, unless you're cherry picking the stats to suit the narrative. And you could say that's what I've done. But all I'm doing is trying to offer context to my claim that it's not all doom and gloom. There are some bad, but there's also some good. So I would be happy to let it play out the rest of the season, see what happens. And if we're still not satisfied, if we haven't achieved anything, if it looks like we're going backwards, then by all means, get rid of him, get someone else in that you think is going to do the job. But by doing that in the middle of the season, that's not going to help anybody, and it's just going to be the same old rinse and repeat, which hasn't worked for us year on year on year.
Yeah, I hear you. We've got a big time in the back. Bloody hell. Barrison Royale is here. Big up, Nick. Hope you are well.
Kate, why have you got Thomas the Taking, Jimmy?
Oh, yeah, I've just noticed that.
An Ange train.
Yes,
number one.
Oh, I see. So, Rinketic, is that a sarcastic picture, or are you Ange's number one supporter?
No, to be honest, like, there's only another manager I would like right now, but I don't like the Madison treatment and what he did with Matt O'Reilly, but there's nothing we can do about it. Let's put it that way. So let's get on the Ange train.
Choo choo! I'm all for that.
Exactly.
Mr. Nicholas Collison, nice to see you. Nice. How are you feeling about the big Ange Postecoglou man at the moment?
Is that the steam in the train?
Yeah.
It's just kind of like. I mean, look, I'm kind of like, I think I said it on Marlon's video that he put out that put me about, I don't know, 85th out of 90 people that commented on his, asked him the question. Absolute disgrace. I think.
Whoa! Why is it a disgrace? Why should you be first?
I was even more disgrace. I was after Nick.
Hang on. I was getting to this before Jim interrupted me and Kate again. We shouldn't be. I'm not asking to be first, Jim, nor is Kate, but to be that far down the list is
so what difference does it make?
We're big time, Jim.
Yeah, Jim.
Have some respect.
I've been selected to go to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to go and be part of a live audience to see the Hotspur hunt next week.
Someone's got to be first, someone's got to be last. What does it matter where you are in line?
Well, it does matter, because if you say that, it don't matter about the Premier League table, does it? Who's first and who's last? And obviously it does. So that's a stupid analogy.
I'm going to get the list up now, Jimbo, and I'm going to see exactly who was before me and Kate, and I'm going to call them out because I'm a scumbag. I'm not really. I'm just, How am I feeling about it? I'm kind of just feeling a little bit, if I'm honest, just like this weather. It can't make its mind up. It's 1 minute the sun's out, next minute it's snowing for 5 minutes, but it's not really snow. Then it's freezing cold and I've got to put the heating on because the kids and the wife are moaning that it's cold, and I'm telling them to put more clothes on and everything else, and get a blanket and a duvet and, all these types of thing. I just, it'll be fine, because what will happen is we'll go, who we playing? We're playing City, so it's a free hit because we'll probably play them back into form. Then we'll go and beat Man United in the Carabao Cup quarterfinals, and then we'll go and lose to Burnley or whoever else we're playing who's rubbish that we should beat. So it's kind of like, I'm kind of a bit like, meh, It's just a bit like, it is what it is. I don't think we should change because I don't see what by changing a manager, I don't see what it changes, because the root of all evil is still there, and it'll be the same for the next manager and the next manager. Does changing Ange do anything? No, it's not going to change anything because who have we got to look forward to? Ryan Mason, Graham Potter, Gareth Southgate. So we can moan about getting rid of Ange, but we're going to moan about one of those three being in charge because it'll be one of those three. And then we'll moan about it in 18 months' time. If you go back, and I've said this before, if you go back and look at every stream on YouTube for the last, I'd say at least 4 or 5 years, it starts the same. Everyone gets excited. We have a bad transfer window. We have a bit rocky results. We replace the manager, and it starts all over again.
Yep. I've got to ask that question. Are you Vaselined up? Because you are very blurry today, Nicholas.
No, I had to move, so you can see there's like if I go forward, look, I block the sunlight. I stupidly said to my eldest that she could have my screen, and then realised that I haven't got a screen to replace it for me in my office. So I'm in her bedroom, which is an absolute disgrace. Hence,
I love this comment.
I've not been banged up, so I'm now so I've got like this horrible because the sun's out, you know.
It does look like you're in some sort of solitary confinement or interview room.
Well, maybe I am, and maybe this I'll suddenly cut off like I did on Ben's stream yesterday. And Ben was like, "Are you okay? Did they like take you to get Vaselined up?" But anyway, it's much better with no lube, straight in, and that's the best way to describe Spurs fans because sooner or later it's straight in, no lube with this football club. So
exactly.
There you go.
Or they use perhaps toothpaste or Vicks Vapor Rub as lube and make it even more. I mean,
Kate, if you're speaking from experience, then I feel sorry for you. But if you've heard that from Jimbo, then I wouldn't expect anything less from Jimbo, especially if he was wearing that dressing gown that we got to see last night, and he went outside in it, flashing. If I just go and check that there was a flasher up in Lincolnshire last night, I know exactly who it is. If there's a reward, Jimbo, I'm sorry, mate. I'm shopping you in for that reward, even if it's £5.
I am at all.
The counter to this sticking with the manager is the right way argument is that means you're saying every single manager's been exactly the same at the club. And it's just not true, is it? Some have found a way to make things work. Harry Redknapp did. Martin Jol did. Pochettino did. But my argument for why you might need to change the manager is if you don't believe with what's currently going on, you can have a roll of the dice and you might end up with another little gem.
It's still very early though, Cooves.
Yeah, he's still got time to turn things around.
And we've tried it. We've tried it with the win now managers, haven't we? We've tried it with Conte and Mourinho, and everyone assured us. I remember seeing stream upon stream upon stream of guaranteed trophies. Now we've got the manager, guaranteed trophies, and they won the absolute sum of fuck all. They won nothing because they won't win at this club because this club isn't set up for a win now manager. So they were on a hiding to nothing. So
you're right. Kuva, sorry to interrupt you, AJ. Well, I'm not sorry. But Kuva's right. Kuva's right. But what I would say is that we've removed the click that was there and we've got another click. These players, it just seems to be that the problem now is I mean, we could go in there and we could probably get a tune out of some of them and everything else. But the problem is, and always has been, for a long time has been these players. They let Poch down, and then they start twerking for a new manager and start performing, and then they let that manager down, and they then do the same thing, and they then do the same thing. No one, everyone is saying about everyone, a lot of people, not everyone, because that, well, obviously Jimbo is not everyone. A lot of people are saying, well, we do this, we do that, we do that. But look at the way that there's no leaders on that pitch. These players are paid stupid amounts of money. Son, Maddison, Romero, all three of them. And I wouldn't care if any player in our Tottenham team at the moment was sold. That's because we don't have anyone. Harry Kane was the last person, because we were talking about the other night when he played that ball across in the England game. Any of these players leave this club, I'm not actually that fussed about. and that's the problem, because that's where we should be thinking, oh, if we lose that player, we're going to do this. If we lose that player, we're going to do this. If we lose that player, we're going to do that. These players are, and we know Timo Werner's an embarrassment to football, but these players are an embarrassment to the fans or supporters or whatever you want to call yourselves. Do you know that
Nick,
letting us down?
Do you genuinely think that Ange sees leadership in the team at the moment?
Well, do I? He must do, because his son's the captain and Maddison and Romero are vice captains.
All right, because I was going to say, because if he doesn't, and he thinks there aren't any genuine captains there, maybe he should have demanded to get one in the transfer windows.
Yeah,
there is there, but then
I was going to say.
Sorry, Vinket.
Sorry, Kate.
Who is there that you could say go and buy and he will be a brilliant captain? Because captains aren't like they used to be in the old days, when you had like your big stand-up guy that dragged you over the line. There's not many of them about anymore. I mean, Mark Noble.
Kasper Hjulmand.
Go on, Vinket.
Kasper Hjulmand, Danish CM. He's one of the leaders in the Danish national team and captain for Sporting.
But
he like I was kind of gonna say that he's kind of like what Jordan Henderson was. He won't always be a 10 out of 10, but you will always notice him some ways. Like he will always be like a 7 or above player. Even if Sporting has like a bad game, or if Denmark has a bad game, you will always notice him, and he will always be one of the top players there.
Yeah. I mean, Chris Cowling asked the question the other day about the leadership, and said, because I get really frustrated that Ange stands on the touchline with his hands in his pockets and does nothing throughout the game. He doesn't guide, he doesn't lead, he doesn't shout, he doesn't do anything. And I sort of said, how can he expect there to be leaders on the pitch if he doesn't lead from the side? Jim, does the leadership of Spurs worry you in the fact that we haven't really got any leaders on the pitch? And like I say, Ange is he's like a mannequin most of the time on the sidelines.
Yeah, but you know what? That time we lost to Brighton when we was 2-0 up, that really bothered me. And I think that maybe I got upset because we was 2-0 up and we lost 3-2 and Ange was just on the sideline. But look, some managers are like that. Some are not screamers and shouters. And he's given them their instructions and they should go out and do it. He shouldn't need to scream and shout. And they've been working on it since the game before.
But as Chris said, if you're 19, 20, 21, someone tells you what to do, within half an hour, you forget.
Well, they shouldn't be forgetting because they're professionals at what they do, right? So for me, I can't have that. If they're a professional at something, they should be soaking in everything they're told to do. But look, there is leaders on the pitch in the sense of Sonny. He hasn't been playing, has he? But it's very frustrating, Tottenham, because I find it very. I listen to what a lot of people say, and I disagree with loads of it. And even though I might be wrong and they might be right, I just think to myself, this is our fucking football club, you know. And all we seem to do is put them down. We're a year and a third into a man's management, and it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. And people wanting him sacked, I can't get my head around it. And I see people calling people names on YouTube channels and on Twitter because they want Ange to stay, you know. And it's like,
and it's the same that works the other way, Jim. There's a lot of people abuse people who want Ange to go. It's very.
Well, they shouldn't be doing that. They shouldn't be doing that. It should be a united thing that we get behind our club and we get behind our manager and our players. And if it doesn't work out, then we move on. But all this fucking putting everybody down and putting the club down, putting the players down, it's like exhausting to me. It is. It's just exhausting. Get behind them. You know, if you don't like somebody and they're playing for your team, it's tough shit. Still support them and get behind them. Support the manager. He's there. Then he's not going next game. He's not going the game after. So why hate on him? Get behind him and support him and try and push the team up a level. You know, honestly, I can't get my head around it. We support Tottenham, so get behind Tottenham. That's what I say.
Coods, is there anyone on the pitch that you think has captain material, like is captain material, or could be a leader for us?
I used to think Romero might step up to do it, but he's proved me completely wrong. He's not going to do it. Too sulky. Seems to ego's missing as much as anybody else in some games. I really don't see it. There's a few players that are like the sort of footballing captain where they don't really get, you know, that sort of blood and thunder, sleeves rolled up and stuck in. But I don't really see any characters like that. I don't see it anywhere in the club. I've always maintained the same thing though. If you look at the ultimate problem, it comes from the top of the club. The chairman doesn't show leadership. In footballing terms, we've still got no sense of direction. We chop and change constantly. He flip flops more than I do. Saying something.
Who flip flops more than you, Coover?
Levy. Yeah, I just don't see it anywhere at all. It's been a problem for a while. As far as I'm concerned, last natural sort of leader, even though he wasn't the greatest footballer in the world, probably Michael Dawson.
I was going to say that. Yeah, he was a great captain.
He was somebody players did respond to him because he put himself on the line for the club.
Do you think that Decky could be captain?
No.
You don't think so?
He can lead by example, but as far I'm a bit old school with this. I always think your captain's going to be somewhere in the middle of the pitch, your centre back or central midfield, somewhere like that, and they got to be somebody that has the potential to scare the shit out of the other players if they're not pulling their weight. Either that, or they command such utter respect that other players listen like that. There's no question in it. Yeah. So Roy Keane used to scare the hell out of everybody. Steve Perryman didn't have to do that. He'd have a gentle word with somebody, but they knew. You hear about this all the time from ex-players that everybody respected Perryman. When he talked, everybody listened. I don't see that with any of ours now. Sonny's a nice bloke. He's the nice guy. He's the happy, smiling face of the club. He's an ambassador for football. Fantastic. But for me, he's not a natural captain. I don't see him as somebody that suddenly changes the course of the game when we're in trouble. He's got that lead by example bit where he can score a goal maybe, but to actually rally the team when we're under the hammer, it doesn't happen. But then I can't just blame him. I don't see who it comes from. Maybe somebody in the academy is going to come through with those sort of qualities, but I'm guessing. It is a rare thing nowadays, isn't it? It tends to be pampered footballers that get upset about everything. I think you need a little bit of old school back into this club. It's been made too comfortable for all of them, I think. Laugh and a joke, nothing matters. Comes from the top, filtered all the way down, and we're stuck with it until something drastic changes. And I do mean the chairman.
Yeah. Ben, this is the easiest question of the day. It's obviously Coover because he flip-flops more than anyone else on the panel. So it's got to be Coover as the fakest fan and the fakest supporter.
Me.
Sorry, Coobs.
Me.
I'm not a supporter, I'm a fan, mate.
All right, fan. Go on, Big Ketch.
You're the fakest one. You flip-flop, Kate. So you and Coover like king and queen of the jungle. You two in I'm a Celeb. You two would be.
Flip-flopping shows education. Because you change your opinion based on facts and what you see.
Embrace the moment.
It's not flip-flopping, is it? Is it flip-flopping? Or is it some weeks you're up with your club and some weeks you're down, which is normal, right? Yeah,
it's
normal for any fan.
You're right, Jimbo. You're right.
To be down and think, like, fuck, I wish fucking this would happen and that would happen. And then you win and you're on a high. So it's just normal, I think, being a normal supporter.
It's no good being called the roller coaster club if you're not going to actually be on the roller coaster, is it?
Exactly.
That's right, exactly right.
If you're holding the coats and the bags, you're the problem.
Exactly. Winketti, what was you going to say? Sorry.
No, I was going to say Kuva at least watches the game. I barely watch the games anymore, so
You don't
I'm
even
probably
watch
the
the
most
games
fake fan.
anymore.
No, because I have like cups and in real life football games to handle.
Yeah.
So
Wow. Well, yeah, you are a fake fan then, Rinketti. You win the title.
yeah.
You've stolen it off Hoover.
No,
Congratulations.
I was gonna say like, don't we actually need someone like Jordan Henderson when he was at Liverpool, kind of thing? It's kind of like a bro with Casper Human, like a 7 out of 10 player, and who's a proper captain. He might not be the best footballer out there, but still.
You're right.
He was.
You're right about that, Rinketic. We need like 8, 7 out of 10s every game, but we have some that are 2 out of 10s and some that are 9 out of 10s, and they're just they're the flip flops. They flip flop from 9s and 10s, 9s out of 10s to 2 out of 10s. They're the flip flops.
Timo Werner plays like he's actually wearing flip flops.
Yeah, no. Come on, he's wearing like those like Crocs or something. No.
Oh no.
Overalls.
Do you know the thing is that in games like the Ipswich game, we didn't even have one player that was a 7 out of 10. It was just abysmal. That was just
I think we might have struggled to get to 7 out of all of them getting to 7, adding them up together.
That was horrendous. But look, I personally think Ange gets till the end of the season. I think he deserves to get to the end of the season, not because he's got credit in the bank as such. I just think I don't see the point in changing him before the end of the season. Jimbo.
Well, see, look, right. It was a terrible game against Ipswich, all right, and it was a terrible game against Brighton.
Big up, Ryan.
Hello, Brian. You're right, mate. But we've had some fantastic games this season where we played really, really well. And maybe we should focus more on that instead of the bad stuff and hope the good stuff comes good.
Jimbo,
all right, Sim.
Jimbo, I'm looking at it, mate. City, Roma, Fulham, Bournemouth, Chelsea.
But you say that. You read them. You read them teams off, Nick. Right? Like we're going to lose every one of them. But
no. Listen to what. You interrupted me. That's twice now, Jimbo. If like Man City's a free hit, but if we don't play well in that Roma, Fulham, Bournemouth away, we know how well they're playing. Chelsea, we know how we always play against Chelsea. If we don't get 3 out of 4 wins out of them, it's going to be really tough for Ange to be surviving any further than that. Genuinely.
Who says we can't go on and win all them games?
I'm not saying we can't, but Fulham a London derby, Chelsea we never win against. Bournemouth away.
You're losing games before we play them. What's that all
I'm
about?
not losing games, Jimbo. I'm just saying if we get 1 win out of those 4 or 5 games, I can't see that the pressure is going to be so much that you can't.
Nick.
As much as we want them to, as much as we're saying we want to do there, we've lost 5 games. If we lose any more, then I just don't see how we get to how we've got to get to. We've got what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games or 7 games until the Carabao Cup quarter final. I don't think he's going to be there if
we're going to win all of them. We're Spurs. We're going to win the lot.
Mr. Daigle.
Nick.
I'm going to cut to. Oh, go on, Rinketti. Sorry.
Nick, you're an Arsenal fan. That's why.
Mr. Daigle, lovely to see you.
Thank you for sending me the link, Kate. It was wonderful to receive it.
You're welcome. What's your thoughts on all this, what we're talking about with Ange? Have you got any faith left in this guy, or are you at a stage where you've had enough?
No, listen, I've always said this. I'm as much Ange in as I am Levy out. And that's because I stand by what I say when it comes to this, I will always stand by my manager. I've always said public enemy number 1 is the only person I'm going for. And I remain that. That's just my stance on it. But with everything that's been going on, as much as I want him to succeed, I don't think he's here come the end of January. That's my I think listen, I want to be wrong. I want him to stay. I just don't think he sees out January. I think, as Nick alluded to those games, which are hard, I think the Carabao Cup game is like a complete marker. If we win that, we're in a semi-final. If we don't, probably, listen, we're in the quarterfinals already, so you'd say it's the easiest cup we can win. The FA Cup hasn't even started yet. I think he's in big trouble, but I don't want him to be. I do not want him gone, and I will stay that way until the dying day. But as Nick was saying, in his defence, it's a results-based business. No matter how much I want him to stay, if he loses against Man City, with our injuries and everything, I fully expect us to. Not because Manchester City are a different animal. When they've lost 4 games on the bounce, they'll come back from international duty fuming and chomping at the bit to get the job done and put things right. So I think it'll be just a bit too much. Roma, who knows? Who knows? One thing I probably do know is Dybala will have a masterclass. He will have a masterclass at our ground. Then it's Fulham. Chelsea at home. Do you know the one that's scaring me the most is Bournemouth away?
Yeah.
Bournemouth away is the one. Listen, they are no mugs. They've done Manchester City. They've done Arsenal. That's not... these are the kind of games where Spurs turn up and go, oh, it's only Bournemouth. We can just turn up and do what we do, and we're the bigger team, so we're the... And they'll chuck. If Fulham and Bournemouth come and fight us, we lose. If they fight, because we don't fight. If they want to play football, then we got a very good chance of winning. But if they want to fight, we lose. It's as simple as that at Tottenham.
Yeah, I mean, do you, with that question, do you think then the Ipswich game that Tottenham just underestimated Ipswich? Do you think that's what it was, or was everyone just having an off day?
Did they have an off day? Was it an off day at Palace? Was it an off half at Brighton? Was it an? You can go through these things. You can't keep going 1-0 down every single game and hoping you can turn it around. There's got to be some. I mean, I was hearing the conversation before about characters. I put a cheeky comment in there, and you brought it up, Kate, where I said Spurs have rebranded the word leadership for experienced, because that's what they are. They're experienced. They're no leaders. This is the thing. This is the thing. We're going to have to wait and see. I mean, it starts at Man City, doesn't it? It starts at Man City, and we see what happens. But if we do lose and get a hammer in, people, oh, look who's here. Look who's here.
What a comment. That's a comment of the day. At least we won't have Emerson to keep playing Haaland on goal.
Sorry, I don't remember Haaland scoring when Emerson was in the team. Just so I don't remember Vinny Jr. and Mbappe.
Nick, I hate to say to you that I was with Ben at Man City away. Emerson scored that game. We lost 4-2, and so did one Erling Haaland. So he has, but yeah, like I said, Man City isn't a free hit. Ben was right. Man City is not a free hit. If Man City hammer us, this fan base will go, "Oh, it's a free hit. It's a free hit." It's not. Nothing is a free hit.
Of course, it's not.
The inescapable fact for me is if we do lose, that's 6 losses without even a third of the season gone. That's a lot. That's on course for losing it, but somewhere around 18, 19 games. You're not getting anything out of a season like that. And it's the nature of the games we have lost that's so alarming. It's not like Ipswich, it's not like we threw the kitchen sink at them and they rode their luck and we couldn't finish our dinner. They just managed us easily.
But you know what, Kuma? That's why I think, do you know what? I don't care if we finish 16th. If we win a Carabao, if we win a trophy, then I think everyone would want that, wouldn't they?
Nah. Yeah,
because realistically, with the way that the form is and everything else, you've got 3 games. In 3 games, we could win a trophy.
I think if this club's plummeting down the table to 16th, even despite of a trophy, I think we're in trouble. There's no way we should be in the bottom half of the table.
Well,
have you seen the new Spurs? Have you seen the new Spurs motto as well? After the rebrand, have you seen the new model?
Sois.
Shine on Spurs. Shine on you, Spurs. Sois, yeah. Let's sois. Let's get Lucas Moura back. Shine on you, Spurs. Bloody hell.
What is that? What is that? Shine on you, Spurs. What? I've got no words. It doesn't sound the same. Coys, yes, but sois. It's ridiculous.
Sauce.
Yeah, it's absolutely balmy. Belgium Hotspur, Yoris says, if Levy sacks Ange before January, I'm going to go full Daigle. That'll be the last straw for me. Look, I'm of the opinion. I can understand why people want Ange out. I do get it. I just think I want to give him to the end of the season and see what happens, because it just, I don't think I can cope with getting another manager in, especially mid-season. It's just too much. Starting
But there's
again.
a difference, Kate. Kate, there's a difference, right, between with wanting a manager out, right, and wanting a player out. Like, I don't want Timo Werner in our club, but he's there. So when he plays on the pitch, I will him to do well, and I will him to score goals. And it's the same with Ange. But if you don't want him at the club, you should still get behind them when we're playing. Get behind the team and the manager, even if you don't like them. There's players in our team I don't like. I just don't mouth off that I don't like them. But the thing is,
all you Emerson Royale haters, yeah, exactly.
I just back them when they're on the pitch because I want my team to win. So I get behind them.
Yeah. Look, I hear you. I don't think. I mean, Joey said, "Does it make me any less of a fan that I back my team to lose?" No. I mean, all this fake fan, if you want Ange out, or the abuse I've seen both sides. I mean, Kuva and me have spoke about it. People getting so much abuse for being Ange in, and people getting so much abuse for being Ange out. I don't think I ever remember. I don't know about you, Kuva, a manager that's caused as much division as Ange Postecoglou.
Yeah, most do. That's when the results are not going particularly well, it's always a division within the fan base. Always.
Well, see, this is, I've never been on YouTube apart from having Ange Postecoglou. So maybe that's why I don't see it so much, because obviously social media amplifies everything.
Biggest one I can think of would be Redknapp, because we were playing some lovely football when Redknapp came in. Everybody was enjoying themselves, nice Champions League runs. And then the England job thing came up and he took his eye off the ball. So there was half the fan base remembering how good the football's been. And there's the other half thinking, this has gone terrible now. What's he doing? He's wrecked all of this. He's got to go. And that's when it's a manager that's generally been loved. So if it's somebody that people aren't sure about, then yeah, you're going to get huge divisions. When it goes completely wrong and we're losing every game, then everybody will say that and they've got to go out at the moment. But it's a weird one when you say about both sides of the fence. I have seen it this season. I have been in both camps. And I'll tell you what, it's a lot easier to be Ange in than it is to be Ange out in terms of the abuse you get from people. A lot easier. Yeah. Because when you're Ange out, you're attacking the club, you're attacking the manager. It's purely football. But the response to Ange out usually tends to be an attack on you as a person, as a fan, and your views. That it's not a counter argument of why Ange should be in. It's because there isn't one there. It's because mostly it's based on hope and belief, and you can't really back that up with anything because you're hoping for a better future. And I'm cool with that, but I just think people probably both sides need to sort of curb their attacks on other people a bit, because
yeah, I agree 100% with that, Kuva, 100%. And the thing is, look, as I've said 1,000 times, we support Tottenham. So I mean, I love Ange and I want him to do well and I want him to succeed. But if they sack him tomorrow, the day after he'll be out my head and I'll be concentrating on the new manager. So that's just the way it is.
And I think, Jimbo, I think you're right in the fact that if you go back to all the managers since Poch, the only one that I was genuinely upset about was Poch. The others, I haven't really felt anything. So I don't know what that says, or do you know what I mean? It's the same.
It means you're an emotionless robot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what it's become? It's social media that's done this, but we've become a fan base that want to hate on each other for our views on the manager or the views of the owner, rather than wanting the club to win trophies. There's a graph that came out a couple of days ago from The Athletic with club investment and bought blood, and we're right down the bottom, and Levy's been there the longest. My God, we all joke about the Kulu Defence League, the Daniel Levy Defence League came out. We're like, oh yes, but we're now doing so well when we're a place it would never be. I'm like, oh my good God. So I'm like, oh my good God. You're now defending the lack of. They'd rather defend what he's doing off the pitch than want success on it. Now that's just on the lead. This whole Ange in, Ange out. I'm a Brennan Johnson fan. The hate I get for liking Brennan is ridiculous. But we would rather bitch and moan on social media or on YouTube channels and go into chats. Not saying here, but I mean across the board, and attack even YouTube channels, rather than going, right, do you know what? Why am I arguing against these? We're all supporters. There's a problem at this club winning trophies. That's what we all support this club for. It's what we all support the club for. But we're too busy arguing, bitching, moaning, calling people out all over the place, rather than going, hey, football club, be one.
Yeah.
It's the one thing at this club that's truly world class is the PR department. Because I remember this years back. I think we had a really disappointing 0-0 draw. I forgot who it was against. Might have been Burnley or something. And everybody was feeling glum about the game. It was an awful game to watch. And the headline on the club website was, "Don't you love it when Hugo keeps a clean sheet?" It's like it was a crap 0-0. We're celebrating failing to concede a goal now, are we?
Mediocrity.
This is spot on.
Yeah. Look, I've just quickly before I come to you, AJ. When I was on with Chris the other day, I gave props to Levy about what he's done for the club, not what he's done for the team. Piss off, Nick. Not what he's done for the football, but I said, he's getting on my nerves. What he's done for the team, how he's made it sustainable. And I said, but he needs to keep away from the football. Oh my God, the abuse that I've had in the comments for saying that I'm a Levy lover, that I'm one of the problems. And I made it clear that I didn't mean what he has done. I'm not saying anything else. AJ, I'm coming to you. AJ,
can I just say one thing about what Brian said about Johnson? Yes. This is something that pisses me off because me and Steve D used to talk about Johnson all the time, and we knew there was a player in there that would come out, and he's come out now, right? He's scoring for Tottenham, he's scoring for his country, and he's playing some good football. But there's still people that hate on him. They can't turn around and say, "I made a mistake there." This kid is getting there. You know, in the short time he's been at Tottenham, he's improved massively. I see people saying that no player's improved under Ange. Well, he's improved. So I wish people would come out and say, hold their hands up and say, "I messed up there. He's a good player."
Lynn Simpson, AJ, makes a really good point and says basically some fans want Ange in, some fans want Ange out. However, the same players will still be there and Levy will still be there. So what fall guy would be brought in then? Surely that's the problem. I think the players get a free ride most of the time. What do you think?
That's exactly it. And I see it week in, week out. People bashing the manager. And yeah, the manager's got a job to do. But he is not to be held accountable for the players on the pitch. If you're a player on the pitch and you're not giving everything, you're not putting in a 7, 8, 9 out of 10 performance at least, then that's on you, right? That's you. Where's your professionalism? Where's the pride in your performance? Where's your ability? Show it on the pitch. But too many people want to be divisive and we have to be in a Levy in camp or a Levy out camp. You can't be kind of like, well, I kind of see the good he's done. I kind of see the shit he's done. You can't be in the middle with Ange either. It has to be you've got to be Ange in or Ange out. It's so divisive now. Rather than just go, he's achieved some good stuff since he's been at the club, and actually he's let us down a fair bit. But let's give him to the end of the season. We've got to attack each other now. We've got to go at each other, insult each other personally, call each other out because we like particular players or don't like, because we back a manager or don't back. I don't care who Brian, who Kuva, who Jim, who Rinkek. I don't give a crap who any of you like as a footballer. If I don't like that footballer, I don't feel the need to insult any of you. We just disagree. And the same with the manager and the same with the ownership. I personally don't like the ownership. I think we will never be a successful club. All the while, the people that are at the top are still there. And it's been proven over the last 23, 24 years. Have we had any period of sustained success since they've been there? No. And we have had managers that build projects. We have had wild card managers. We have had win now managers, highly reputable managers. And each one of them has achieved nothing, or very, very little. We might have scraped a cup. But the point is, the problem at the top will always be the problem at the top. We've got to stop as a fan base insulting each other because we have a different opinion. We're not children. Well, actually, maybe we are. We certainly act like it, but we've got to be adult about it. If you like Ange and I don't, guess what? That's fine. If I like Ange and you don't, that's also great. It's got to be football. And I say this time and time again. Jim's heard me say it. A fair few people have heard me say it. We support the club, Tottenham Hotspur. The name, the crest on the badge will always be more important than whoever is in the dugout, whoever is in the ownership box, or whoever's on the pitch. Players, managers come and go. In 100 years, this club will still be here. Hopefully, pray to God, this club will still be here. And we'll have entirely new players, entirely new manager. The board will all be different, but the club remains. That's who we love. That's what we love. And that's what we all need to remember. It doesn't matter who you like. It doesn't matter who you don't. We love our club, and that's the most important thing.
Oh, just trying to think of 100 years' time. Damayao's still going to be on the transfer list, isn't he?
Well, you never know. It looks like we're going back in for Grealish years later, as we always do. So you never know, mate. You never ever know.
We're never going to be able to afford to pay Grealish's wages. That's
mate, I don't want Grealish. I don't want what is this fascination with this club where we wanted to play when he was really, really good, when he was at his peak, when he was doing really, really well. He then goes to another team, wins everything. Then that team doesn't want him. And he's a lot cheaper. Oh, we wanted him. We go get him. And he's not the player. What is the fascination?
Yeah. Paul says he's prepared to give Ange at least 3 seasons. We have not won anything for years. What's a couple more to actually build sustainable success? Rinketti, do you think Ange makes it to the end of the season? And do you want him to make it to the end of the season?
I am willing to give him at least this season also.
Yeah. And do you think
I don't like
do you think Levy will give him this season?
Depends if we miss out on Champions League or how far we're away from Champions League.
Interesting.
That's the truth. If we're further away from Champions League, then Levy doesn't care about if we're gonna win the FA Cup or Carabao Cup or anything.
Yeah. Jim, I think I know the answer to this. Will Ange make it to the end of the season? Do you want him to make it to the end of the season?
Definitely. Yeah.
What to vote?
I'm convinced he'll turn it around. And if he doesn't, I'm fucking big enough and ugly enough to turn around and say I was wrong and see you later, and we move on to the next guy. You know, I've said it 1,000 times, I support the club, and anyone who's in this club, right, be it Ange Postecoglou, be it Conte, be it whoever, and whatever player is on that pitch, they get my backing 100%. And if I don't like them, I still back them because they play for my club that I've supported for 55 years. I love this club to bits. You know, there's not a day goes by without something to do with this club in my life. So I support whoever is there, and I will back whoever's there. And if he gets sacked tomorrow, right, I'll be gutted, but the next day I will move on to the new manager and back him. Because once they've left this club, that's it. They're just part of the history.
I mean, Brian, Paul Robinson came out and said he thinks that Ange could lose his job in February if we're out of the Cups and out of the European places. At the same time, at the fans forum, which I know is a bit of a farce, Levy did kind of make it sound like he was in it for the long haul. But do you see him lasting the season realistically?
All right, so let me just tell you, as you know, I've got my PhD in Levy. my bachelor's, everything. The second his lips move, he is lying. He is lying. So him saying he's in for the long haul is like saying Harry Kane had a gentleman's agreement. It's like him saying every single penny goes back into the club. Blah, 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 blah. Do not trust. I don't trust Daniel Levy as far as I can throw him. And believe me, I'd love to try and throw him to see how far that went. I want him to stay, like I said, but I don't think Paul Robinson, who's my favourite Spurs goalkeeper of all time, love that man, love him. Not the best goalkeeper we had. For me, that's Pat Jennings, but in my lifetime, you'd have to say Hugo, but my favourite by far, Robinson. Robinson saying February, I'm going to go 1 month ahead of him. I don't think he sees out January, but I want to be wrong. But then you got the way you got to look at it as well is, and this is brilliant for our owner and not spending money. There's transfer window coming up. Do you keep him and give him the money? But if you're thinking, right, this might not last, I'm not going to give you any. Do we get a manager in ready for January so he can try and get some of the play? Always works around this way. If he's here in January, I think if we spend big in January, I can't believe those words just came out of my mouth. If we spend big, if we spend money in January, then I think he's got a bit of security. If we're looking at loan deals or whatever, we hear that we have to sell to buy, then yeah, he's a dead man walking.
Wow. Coos, do you think he makes it to the end of the season?
Results. That's what's going to matter at the end of the day. Earlier in the season, you could say we were getting beaten by the bigger teams, losing to the littler teams. We've now lost to two of the bottom three. And the nature in which we lost to them, if we keep seeing repeats of that, the pressure's on. In December, well, until the new year, we got 9 league games, if I remember rightly. So we'd be talking about halfway point in the season, round about that. And if we've lost 4, maybe 5 of those games, you're looking at 10 losses at the halfway point. If some of them are diabolical results, like we've seen against Ipswich, like we've seen against Palace, and games like that, or we get hammered in one of the cups, like Galatasaray threatened to do, I think he's going to go. So I think it's a big month ahead. And after that, it doesn't matter. We know we have a chairman that will pull the trigger. If we look like we're not going to make top 4, or there's no hope of it, only at the halfway point, he'll change things. And as for the rebuild, and as for this project with all the youth players coming in, they're not coming in though, are they? They're sitting on the bench. They hardly get game time. So that's out of the window as well. So we're talking about a manager that's expecting to do well with the players he's got right now, and it's all up in the air. I don't see any way that I can get excited about him staying. I also don't see who the natural person is to bring in afterwards. So I think we're screwed either way.
That's a massive problem, Kobe. You're right.
So right now, that's why I'm saying I've reset. I'm right on the fence at the moment. I think for the best thing for the club now, regardless of whether you like the manager or not, is to just see him string a few wins together and get the team playing. That's what we're going to care about at the end of the day, isn't it? Some goals flying in and progressing the cups.
Okay, I will just say very quickly one sentence, and I've said this the whole way. If at White Hart Lane or an away game, a large proportion sing "We Want Levy Out" or "Get Out of Our Club," he's gone the next day or the next week. So that's the other issue as well. As soon as the pressure goes from the manager to the owner, or the chairman, shall I say, he's gone. He's gone.
I mean, there was people saying they heard that at Ipswich. Now, we didn't sit in the South Stand, so we didn't hear any of that, but apparently there were some Levy out chants at the Ipswich game. They obviously
I know a few people tried to get it going, but obviously there were times under Conte and towards the end of that season where you could clearly hear it, whether you're in the ground, watching it on TV or whatever. And like we know, Mr. Levy likes to turn the music up very, very loud.
I heard Sonny was getting booed in that game.
Who?
Say again?
I heard Sonny was getting booed in that game. If that's the case, we're really in a sad state of affairs.
Yeah.
The booing at the Ipswich game was unbelievable at the full-time whistle. It was
at the full-time whistle.
Yeah.
It weren't during the game. It was at the full-time whistle.
Yeah.
Half-time as well, wasn't it, Jim?
Huh?
Yeah, and half-time.
Well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and half-time.
Yeah.
I've completely forgot what I was going to say. It's completely gone out of my head. But AJ, while I try and think, do you think Ange sees the end of the season?
We've got a very, very, very hard run of games coming up. December is going to be very tough for us. I personally think he should be given till the end of the season. Then whatever happens, you can make a decision with a clear head, right? If we've won a trophy, you can say, great, we can improve now. We can. Well, we'd like to see him given a bigger balance to go out and spend. Probably not going to happen, but we can. The foundations have been laid. Yeah, we can do better in the league, but we've won a trophy. Let's hope to build on that. If we get to the end of the season and we haven't won anything, and our form in the Premier League has been poor, then you can get rid of him and bring in someone else, give him the whole of the pre-season to try and build something, get players in that they want to fit their system. And you can then say with a clear head, okay, we gave him a chance. We gave him 2 full seasons and it hasn't worked. For whatever reason, it's not worked. Part ways, get a manager in, let them start from a place of which they've got a bloody chance of achieving something. Give them the pre-season, give them money to spend on players, to bring in the players that they want. Because we don't do that. We sack a manager halfway through the season. They come into utter carnage. They try to get rid of the players they don't want, bring in the ones they do, all while implementing their system. And it's going to take a good run of 10, 12, 14, 16 games to try and implement a system. And then when the form's dipping, and how are you any better off than having the manager stay that's already implemented his system? Because we have seen it work. Okay, we've also seen it not work. But I'm not a fan of rinse repeat, right? I'm not a fan of, let's get rid of him, get someone else in. Because in 18 months' time, the fans that are calling for his head will be exactly the same fans calling for the next manager's head because he's not achieved what we think we should, what we think we're entitled to, where we think we should be. So the first thing I would do if I was Ange is I would strip down that leadership team because it's not a leadership team. Son is a good international captain, but it's completely different to being a captain at club level. And he's a nice guy. He's not captain material. Romero, why is he going to put in the effort to be captain of the club when he's already on the flight to Spain, when he's already on his way to Madrid? He's got no love for the club. He's got no passion for the club. Put an Argentinian shirt on him, it's completely different. Chalk and cheese, completely different player. Maddison is not a leader. He's a good player when he's on it, but he's rarely on it. He needs to find somebody in that crop that will fight tooth and nail and claw for everything in every single match. Who that's going to be, I don't know. But all I know is this leadership team that he has at the moment isn't leading. They're not leading by example. They're not leading by digging their boots in and plowing through the team. It's just either way, it's not happening. Things need to change for Ange to stay in the job. But a bad run of results, I agree with the guys. If results don't improve, I can see him being gone by January.
Let me just add to that right now. I've just been sent something. Kulusevski is a doubt for Saturday.
That's shit.
Sugar. Why? He's got a knock.
That's Nero. Probably could be. Van der Ven could probably. So it could be Drago and Davies in defence, which fine, it is what it is. But then probably our player of the season by a country goddamn mile is a doubt at the moment. So good times. Good.
I mean, as well, I think it was
Dejan played. No, I was going to say Dejan played full 90 minutes yesterday.
Yep. Well, I've just seen something from Alistair Gold. Postecoglou's major Spurs boost despite Kulusevski concern for Milan, and it's got him holding his shoulder, which he's been holding a few times during the game. and it's got him holding his shoulder for the Sweden game. So, as we know, Rinketic, certain players like Romero go and play 90 minutes for their country, and then they come back to Spurs injured.
I agree with Ben's comment.
Yeah, his head stuck up his own arse. I think it was you, Brian, who said something about Project Youth, and it's come out today as well that Bergvall looks like he could be going on loan because he's not ready. So that kind of backs up what you were saying.
Good times. Good times. I mean, in all honesty, I'll be serious here. Bergvall must be thinking, what the fuck did I turn Barcelona down for?
Yeah.
What in God's name? He probably chose Barcelona. I mean, us over Barcelona. Rumi, thinking he'll get first team football. He probably thought, I've got no chance of first team football. I'll go to Spurs. I'll get first team football there. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I said Baiva should. Sorry. I said Baiva should have stayed at Sweden until the end of the Swedish season.
Yeah.
So he will come in like January.
I did see what Joris put, and there is something to this. We're still in all competitions, which it is November for us to still be in all the cups isn't that common. We are only 3 points off of third place. However, we're also 1 point off of 13th. Jim, is the reaction an overreaction, or do you get it?
I just think that there's only two teams really having a really good season at the minute, and that's Liverpool and Forest. No one else is having a really fantastic season. I just think it's too early to. We need. Look, it's been up and down, and it's been frustrating, but hopefully Ange can even it out. And I think sacking him's not the answer. But as someone said, you bring a new manager in, and it's like he's got to start again. And so if you lose, say, 2 or 3 games under him, everybody's going to get on his back. But he's the new manager. I just think stick with this guy and see over the next 6-9 games if he can turn it around. If he doesn't, then if they sack him in January then or Christmas, then they do. But I just think it's going to be a real disaster if they sack him over the next couple of games. I think it's going to be a disaster for this club. So I just think stick with him and see if he can turn it around. I think it's too early in the season, Kate. To say. It's not been all doom and gloom. We've had some fantastic games where we played some really, really good football, right? And all right, we've had a few injuries and we're getting a bit of bad luck, but every team's going to get that through the season. It's not just going to be us, So I just think just stick with him over the next few games and see where we go.
Coos, are you all right? You look like you nodded off for a minute.
I'm bloody tired. I think if I kept my eyes shut any longer, it would have gone into full sleep, I think.
Is Jimbo that boring? Really?
No, he's got soothing voice. It's good for you.
I will just say one thing before we finish the show. When all these stats come out about managers, I get it. Stats are, interesting and informative, but you have to take into context that Kane bailed us out a million times during the season of Conte, of Mourinho, of every manager that was lucky enough to have Harry Kane. And I also believe that us getting to the Champions League final made people really, truly believe we're better than we were. I think we're a long way off where people really think we are. And I hate to say it, I'm a Spurs fan, but I think maybe the expectations are starting to lower a little bit because we're not as good as maybe we thought we were. But Brian, anything you want to say before we finish the show?
Yeah, listen, just fine. What you said about the expectations, this is what you've got to remember. Yesterday was obviously 5 years to the day that Poch got sacked.
Yeah.
Poch completely overachieved and set the standards very, very high, and we did it on a very, very little budget. And rather than, you're always meant to strengthen from a position of strength, not weakness, because then you're always chasing. And we had the chance to strengthen. We didn't. We've let big stars go and not replace them properly or adequately. And now the big boys, because they have the big boy money, even though we've got the money to spend, they want success on the pitch as a priority to off the pitch. And what are the big boys? I mean, everyone's taking the piss out of Chelsea, me included. Yes, they've gone through managers, give them money. Yes, they've got 487 players. them now. Look at them now. Are they worried about FFP or PSR? No, they want success at Chelsea. This recipe doesn't work at the moment, and it will continue. It will continue. So I will say, before I say my normal thing, shine on, you Spurs, shine on, and as always, Levy out. I have to add that to me. I think I might have to add it. Shine on, you Spurs. Shine on.
Shine. Thank you, Brian, as always, for being here.
Thanks for having me, darling.
Kuva, if we can just keep you awake for a minute to see if you've got anything to say before you drift off into the land of Nod, where Spurs win trophies and the league and God knows what else.
Will we?
No, I'm just wondering if you had anything to say before we go.
No, it's all about the moment, isn't it? Living for the present. We got a game against City coming up, and let's just hope for something. Need to pick me up as fans. It's all well and good saying support the team, but the team has to support the fans as well. They got to show us something. It works both ways. A regular phrase I use. I am a loyal dog, but you've got to throw me a bone every now and then. Otherwise, I'm going to be angry and take your bloody leg off.
I like it. Hey, Jay, anything you want to say before we go?
Yeah, just let's see what the weekend brings. We can't afford for Kulu to be out. For me, he's our best player. He's our most versatile player, and time after time we've played City, he's been our outlet. He's been the main man that we ping the ball to, and he gets us up the pitch and release the pressure. So he's a player we can not afford to do without. But it's City. We're away to City. It's always difficult. Let's see what we do. Let's hope they put in a good performance. Win, lose or draw. Let's hope at the very least we get a full-on balls to the wall performance from the club. Then we can analyze and dissect and critique. But yeah, at the very least we need a full-on performance.
What's your prediction, AJ?
Me, 1-1.
Yeah, 1-1. I'll take that all day long. Rinketic, what's your prediction and anything you want to say before we go?
5-4 to one of the teams. I don't know.
9 goals. Wow.
And let's get on the Ange train.
Get on the Ange train. I don't know if Nick's still here or if he's fallen asleep. Nicholas? No, he was locked up and he's obviously...
They've taken his phone and shut the cell door on him.
Yeah,
he had the sense to turn his camera off when he went for a snooze.
Kuva, before I let you go, sorry, what's your prediction for City?
Heart says 7-3 win to Spurs, obviously. Head says 3-0 City win. I don't think we've got hoodoo over them anymore. Them at home is something else. Plus, them losing 5 games in a row, all of the 4 that they had lost so far away from home. They'll be looking at us. Dr. Tottenham coming up. They need a pickup. We're the team that does that for others, aren't we? I just can't see anything other than us being beaten. Hope I'm wrong. I hope my heart just tells my head to piss off.
Yeah. Oh, here he is, Big Time Nick. Brian, before I go to Big Time Nick, what was your prediction for Saturday night?
For me, I was hoping that when you didn't go to AJ and Rinketic and Arsenal, I was like, phew, you missed me. And now you come back and put the heat on me. I'm afraid to listen. My heart always will say Spurs win, but I'm not going to be this person that keeps going, yeah, Spurs win every game. And that's everyone has their right to do it. I can't do it anymore. I can't do it. So I'm kind of the way that if I say that we go for a defeat and we win, I'm delighted. But if I go for a win and we lose, I'm pissed off. So I'm going to go better than Kuva, though. I'm going to say 3-1. I'm going to say 3-1 Spurs. We will score.
Okay. 3-1
Spurs, did you say?
3-1 City. 3-1 City.
I was going to say. Bloody hell.
3-1 City, sorry.
Nicholas, in fact, I'm not going to ask you for your prediction because we're doing our prediction show on Friday. So we're not going to give ours yet.
Can I just say, right, Anthony Clark, he's got some fun, and for fuck's sake. Can you see where he's called us bottling them?
Yeah, I know.
Are you having a fucking laugh, Anthony? Bottling them, us. Fuck me, you're on the top of the list for that one, son. Bloody hell, you won the gold medal for bottling them.
Nick, anything you want to say before we finish the show?
Obviously I've seen AFC Matt's comment, how's 10th? Well, if we finish 10th and you finish second, we still win the same amount, which is fuck all. So it doesn't really matter. So no, just look, Spurs are back. I'm sure there'll be some meltdown or drama over the weekend on some shape or form for something. There's games coming thick and fast. The only thing that can happen, it can go one way or another. It can go a good way or it can go a bad way. So that's all. But just look, it's coming up to the Christmas spirit, to December. Let's all have peace and goodwill to all men and women and dogs and toasters and dwarfs and. Well, mate, you got to say everything, otherwise, someone will be offended, Brian. If I miss out the toasters, then the toasters will be offended. If I miss out the dwarf, Snow White will get upset. If I miss out So let's all just have fun. Let's enjoy ourselves. It's gonna be. Let's strap us in. It's like we go to the theme park and you strap in and you think what's gonna happen, and whatever you think's gonna happen. Something else will come.
Let me just very quickly add to that. I did say Kulusevski. I'm now being told Basuma as well.
Oh, happy days.
What,
you're like the voice of doom, Brian.
Well, we'll see on Friday's press conference, but apparently Kulu is a doubt. And now I've been told maybe Basuma as well. So it's good that Benton
Brian, shall I go and get my boots on?
Well, who knows? Do you know what? You might, at long bloody last, see Archie Gray might have no choice. Might have no choice. I hope we do. But yeah, we'll see Friday. There
you go. Jimbo, obviously we're back Friday with Nick. I assume, Nick, are you with us Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah, doing our Premier League predictions. But thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for Brian, Kuva, AJ, Vinketic and Nick for coming on. And Jim, I'm going to let you end the show as only you can.
Well, I don't feel great, so I'm not going to do one of my rants. But I will say, get behind the team. Get behind the team. Get behind the manager. Get behind the players. We're Tottenham. And we will beat City. All you lot with your fucking 4-1s and 3-1s to City. Bollocks. We beat City.
There you go. And don't forget, 3:30, go to the coffee company for, I think you've got brewing bollocks today, have you, Coos?
We have, yep.
So if you want to see
some awake, that is.
Yeah, if you want to see some bollocks being brewed, 3:30 on the coffee company. Enjoy the day, and as always, come on, you Spurs.
Giving opinions with no regret, smashing the top bins like in the onion net. Talking the talk with Kate and Jim, and walking the walk, just listen in. The perfect match, Kate and Jim, getting at it. Kate and Jim are gonna smash it. Reviews, previews, opinions and laughter. Mixing transfer news, it's what you're after. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. The perfect match, the perfect match. You just got to latch onto that perfect match. Jim always keeps a positive spin, while Kate's Mickey has a name dropping. Gets you out of the blue like Lenny, stop robbing, or she's just flip-flopping. Hell, this place is popping. The perfect match, you just got to latch onto that perfect match. The perfect match, the perfect match, you just got to latch onto that perfect match.